Hey guys, Philosopher here, and today I'm going to show off the Web Warriors, particularly Scarlet Spider, who just came to the game, in Doom 2.3 on the bio nodes. I just want to say that what I've done with this team is different than what I've done with other teams. I mean, usually I just max out a lot of these characters, and the reason I do that is, you know, partly I just think a lot of you want to see the characters maxed out, and also for my own roster, a lot of times that's just the right choice for me to make. I try to do something a little different here because I know a lot of you are making decisions about how much to invest in these characters compared to symbiotes. And so what I'm doing is I'm bringing them to G14 level 80, Gear Tier 14 level 80, and which is where I had my kind of the lesser symbiotes. So if you look at my symbiotes here, I had Venom and Carnage at Gear Tier 14. You know, and then I had Scream at Gear Tier 15 and these two at Gear Tier 16. So I'm trying to bring them to this level and see if I can get away with using the entire team at Gear Tier 14 at Doom 2.3 without you having tons of heals and stuff like that. And then I also have, you know, I brought up, I didn't core up these characters. I don't do that sort of thing. So, you know, Scarlet Spider's only 3 stars. Ghost Spider's 5 red stars. These might be more, you know, reasonable levels for some of you. So, you know, this might be the level that some of you might be able to actually, you know, get this team to in a reasonable amount of time. I figure let's see how this team does at this level. There's no need for me to, you know, rush to Gear Tier 15. So here we go. We're going to go into, this is Doom 2.3. We'll go into these bio nodes. And what I'm going to do is use Symbiote Spider-Man as the 5th character. The reason why is he has something. He has a passive that heals the Hero Spider-Verse for 3% when he applies debuffs, essentially. So to me, you know, that is a benefit to the team because all of the rest are Hero Spider-Verse. It means that he has some synergy with this entire team. So, and I'll show you that at the end of the video. We can take a look at that passive and why that helps the team. But let's just see how this team does. One thing I have said multiple times is I do think that the Web Warriors benefit from having a lot of Raiders in the team. The only striker I have set up is Miles because he's got the best ISO attacks. So the rest are all Raider. All right, so here we go. Put the ability block in Emma Frost. Now, so, you know, I know some of you have asked me, you know, hey, you know, Philosopher, do we want to, you know, have some skirmishers on this team? And really, that's only if you're having trouble getting your debuffs to stick, okay? And I think, you know, certainly OG Spider-Man, for example, and you know, for, you know, he has, there we go. OG Spider-Man has more focus than Venom or excuse me. OG Spider-Man has more focus than Symbiote Spider-Man or Anti-Venom. And so really, I don't think that's going to be an issue. You know, in the short run, occasionally you might get a resistance, but, you know, the question is really, you know, how much are you willing to sacrifice in order to have that? Because there's a lot of damage coming out. This team gets a ton of extra crit chance and extra crit damage, and as a result, this is a team that benefits a lot from Raider. So you're just getting a lot of extra, you know, damage and you know, additional vulnerables out there when you use Raider, because I think it is, you know, for example, Scarlet Spider is giving you a whole bunch of crit damage, and then Spider Punk is going to give you extra crit chance. So, you know, that really screams Raider to me. So whenever possible, we want to make characters in this team a Raider. You could see that we're doing pretty well here. Not a real problem, which is great because I think this is, you know, a more achievable level of gear than, you know, getting all these characters to Gear Tier 15. Remember that 4 members out of the team require Oz formula, which is an impediment to a lot of players. One of them requires, so Scarlet Spider died. these Elsas really cause problems for characters that rely on dodge. Okay. I'll show you that as well so you can see what that issue is. Hold on. We'll do that after we run these nodes. Okay. Okay, so far so good. One adjustment that I, probably need to make is that I'm so used to in these nodes stopping my attacks once the enemy reaches red on the bar, right? Because of the symbiotes. Since I'm not using the symbiotes, I don't have carnage. I don't want to do that anymore. All right, so this is not bad. A little bit more healing than I would like, right? So what this tells me is at this star level, maybe you do want to get a little bit more on them. Just because you want to avoid this healing. Now, I will say that it's a different problem than the symbiotes had. The symbiotes problem, I will tell you, I almost never have to heal the symbiotes after these nodes. That's not an issue. The issue is timing out. They just put out low damage, and so you're using auto at certain points, maybe, and that sort of thing. But here we have a bit of a different problem, which is that when these characters, particularly at lower stars, and if you haven't maxed out the gear, they don't have. Let's see. Let's stun her. They don't have super high health. Just like this. I mean, the symbiotes don't either, but the symbiotes has so much healing from that passive where they have all that drain. So, they really rely a lot on dodge. And so if you have dodge, you see, by the way, I use the basic on the tank there, because that's really a taunt clear. Miles has a taunt clear in his basic. One missed opportunity, though, is I should have used, when I was using the Spider-Gwen basic, I should have done that on a character that had slow, so we got a blind out there. Not a big deal, but just saying, just trying to show you kind of how you want to play this team more optimally. For me right now, I'm still learning the team. There's definitely some nuances to make the team perform well. It's definitely on the whole a better team than the symbiotes, but it's not like, there's these teams that we've had recently, these raid teams like the New Warriors and Secret Avengers, where it was just sort of like you could just press buttons and they would just do their thing, right? I mean, there's not a lot of nuance to using the New Warriors. You just press buttons and they debuff everyone and kill them. This is obviously very different. It requires some thought about which abilities you're using and managing the debuffs and so on. It's just not as super OP in the way those other teams were, which is what it is. But I just want to make sure you guys know. I know some of you are disappointed. You want me to, have a better view of the team. I'm not against it. I just want everyone to know what they're getting themselves into. Okay. You could see one issue was I did not control Phyla-Vell well enough. And so she ended up getting her cleanse off, which is okay. Okay, I keep targeting with Miles Basic. I'm targeting the characters that need buffs removed. Okay. We're not using that special because counterattack breaks the chain, and we don't want that. All right, let's stun Moon Knight because we don't want any of his debuffs. We'll do this so we don't have to deal with the Bishop taunt again. So far, so good. So now we have those two Phyla-Vells to deal with at the end. You really want to control those. So let's ability block her. So far, so good. Okay. Okay, it's the extensions. of debuffs, but it doesn't extend. I mean, one thing about this team, it doesn't extend trauma, doesn't extend ability block. You can't really spread, for example, ability block or trauma or anything like that. So it's definitely got more limitations than some of the older teams. Like Symbiote Spider-Man actually can extend ability block, and frankly, you know, that's something we should probably be trying to do. I should actually probably be trying to do here. Okay, so now you want to go to a character here with slow. And we can put blind on her. Blind is one of the best debuffs that this team does extend and spread. And I expect you'll want to do that. All right, so here we're going to extend the ability block because of Symbiote Spider-Man can do that. And then we're going to go back to attacking this file of L, and we're running out of time. So I think, you know, I misplayed this a little bit, but you can see I'm trying to be pretty careful. And ironically, the one character that is having some health issues here is going to be Symbiote Spider-Man, and it's simply because Symbiote Spider-Man is not part of this team, so he's not getting the, you know, passive healing and so forth that members of this team are getting. I'm going to go and I will finish this node right here, and then we'll talk a little bit about it because I do want to show you for a second. Here, we'll heal up. Ironically, Symbiote Spider-Man the most, and there's OG Spider-Man. I think I can leave Spider-Gwen where she's at. Now, one thing you may just want to do, too, is one advantage, I guess, of keeping them at this level for now is you could have your symbiotes as backup, right? As these characters get low in health, instead of paying for heals like I did, obviously I'm making a video, you want to see the new characters. But I think that for a lot of you, what you could do is just use them essentially as a you know, the symbiotes as backup, right? In other words, okay, well, my Spider-Gwen is low. You know, once you have the full team, okay, I'll throw out Symbiote Spider-Man, right? That sort of thing. All right, well, I think we're good here. We can auto the rest. I think you're getting a good sense of this team. I mean, it's a team that, particularly if you're doing it at lower gear or lower stars, because obviously I got only 3 stars on Scarlet Spider, which maybe after we don't know yet the details of how you can unlock these free to play. That may be where a lot of players are at. You know, I got the 5 stars on Spider-Gwen, that sort of thing. This is, you know, roughly where a lot of people maybe have this team, but you can even get 2.3 done, and that's very good. That's a very good result. I mean, it's you know, it takes a little bit of care. It's a little bit more care than, let's say, the New Warriors take, but I think a similar result where the New Warriors are also absolutely dominant, even at a little bit of a lower gear tier or stars. Let me just show you, though, for 1 second, why I think Symbiote Spider-Man is a good 5th here. So you see when a negative effect is applied to an enemy. So by anybody on the team, heal all himself and Hero Spider-Verse allies for 3% of this character's max health. And then he still gets the drain, even though on his attacks where he gets healed when he does damage, even though, of course, the other symbiotes aren't doing that. And then the other point I did want to make to you is, you know, we were wondering maybe why Elsa was such a problem here. The reason Elsa is a problem is because in her passive it says, when an enemy dodges, attack that enemy for 220% damage. So you're always going to want to keep that in mind when you are raiding with the Web Warriors. All right, guys, if you like this video, smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel. If you got comments or questions, you can leave them below or go to my Discord. That's linked below as well. You can also go to my Twitch stream, which is linked below. And, hey, if you want to support this channel, please use the link below to buy Amazon coins. That does go to support the channel.